Live from the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, this is Iowa Live.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. A very special guest joining us once again in the studio, Taylor Parker from Concept by Iowa. Concept by Iowa Hearing is here. We want to talk about, first of all your locations, and then talk about people that are suffering from diabetes, what that means when it comes to your hearing. But we're looking at the map here. You got a bunch of locations.
15 locations around the state, pretty much from Des Moines all the way east, all the way to the river north, West Union down to, Oskaloosa, that area. So pretty much anywhere between here and the river, we can get you covered.
Where did you guys start?
We actually started in Grinnell.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Little 9-foot by 21-foot office.
No way, really?
2 years ago, yeah. Right next to the old diner. Diner's not there anymore. But we used to be able to get 10-cent coffee in there. So we'd buy coffee for patients all day long.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And it seemed to work. But the thing about this is you cover so much area of the state of Iowa. No matter where you are in the state, you're close by. Yeah,
we try to make sure that we're, 30 to 45 miles maximum between any clinic as far as just, major, what we call major cities in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
We try to cover that population well. Free hearing screening and all those. When you go to this website, iowahearing.com,
mm-hmm.
you can actually book your appointment right on the website. Don't have to talk to anybody. Choose your clinic. It'll give you a time. You just put it in there and get you all booked for your free screening.
And how long does a screening take normally?
We always recommend that people block about an hour and a half, and that's if you have a full hearing loss,
mm-hmm.
And bring a spouse or loved one with you. We want to make sure everybody understands, but it's a full-blown evaluation. So we want to make sure we're thorough, we answer all your questions, but we just take the time. We don't want it to feel rushed or have to come back. So we try to do everything in that initial consultation, but we block about an hour and a half.
Okay. Now what we want to talk about here are so many people that have diabetes, diagnosed with diabetes type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and that really plays havoc when it comes to your hearing.
It does. If you have a type 1 or type 2 diabetes, you're twice as likely to have a hearing loss, an untreated hearing loss. And when you think about vessels in your body, and when we're talking about diabetes, we're talking about blood flow. Good, proper blood flow has to happen to keep parts healthy. When you think about eyes work the exact same way. When you have eye issues when you're a type 1 or type 2 diabetic, it's because we're talking about small vessels.
Sure.
So the exact same thing. The smallest vessels we have in our body are in our ears.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when you think about blood flow starts in the smallest vessels, then it works up to the biggest. Well, smallest ones in your ears. So good, healthy cochlea, which sends the signal from your ears to your brain where the processing occurs, all happens in the cochlea. Well, if you have poor blood flow or high glucose levels, which actually can cause harm as well, because it can, in essence, kind of burn those hairs inside the cochlea. There's 15,000 tiny little hairs inside your cochlea that move back and forth and send that signal. They can get, in essence, burnt when you have high glucose levels. So type 1, type 2, you're twice as likely. Pre-diabetics are 30% higher than those that have, normal hearing.
Really?
Yeah. So
even if you're on the verge of diabetes, you could be affected by this.
Oh yeah, you're 30% higher chance to have a hearing loss than those individuals that have normal hearing.
And some of the first indications that hearing loss may be occurring, what should people look for?
Simple things that people have to repeat to you, that you say, what? You turn radio, you turn TV, volume has to go up because you're searching for that clarity. You're searching for something, and louder doesn't always mean better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're searching for something.
Wow.
So you need volume. You need people to repeat. It's just simple everyday things, but it's that early indication.
And we've talked about this so many times too. Other factors can come into play if you're having a hearing loss when it comes to your mental state as well.
Untreated hearing loss leads to, you're 2 to 5 times more likely to develop dementia.
Mm-hmm.
So, the mental aspect, because hearing is an activity done by your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Your ears don't do it. They just conduct that sound. Your brain processes that. When you rob brain of the essential, information that it needs, it robs from cognitive. So that feeds it into dementia. So, very important to, understanding how your hearing works.
Yeah, best thing to do, you see it on the screen right there, iowahearing.com. You see on the screen, you schedule an appointment, and get your hearing corrected. It's just that simple.
It's that easy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
You
it.
bet. Good to see you.
Thank you for spending time with us. We will see you back here tomorrow on Iowa Live.